I am really going to try to keep this to the point. I know why I'm not having fun in Diablo 4 right now. Once again, I feel like since Diablo 4 came out, it's just me complaining about why it's not good enough. It just keeps seeming like that. Let's tell you right away. Especially as a casual, right? I've obviously had years where I had no job and I could just play Diablo all day long, and I've had times where I got to work, and so I've only got 5 hours a week, whatever the case is. Here's the bottom line. I'm not having fun, and I don't want to continue that much. I've played Diablo 4 for the last couple weeks again. I came back to the season to try to keep playing again, and I just can't. I just find myself feeling hopeless and like it's a chore, and I've had some excitement when I first leveled up and had gear that's whatever, but I'm at the point where I want stuff to happen once in a while. You know, in Diablo 3, in a season, primals drop. And I feel like the primal rate drop in Season 3 was pretty cool, or Diablo 3 was pretty cool, because if you really grinded your face off, you know, not only would you level up all your gems, almost perfecting them all, but there's a potential that you would have 3, 4, 5, 6 primal items by the end of a season if you were nuts. But, you know, typically for me, I would have 1 to 3 primals by the end of a season on Diablo 3. So, you know, I would argue that I would have liked to see that number go up a little bit, right? I would have rather, you know, been able to play that much, hit Paragon 1,300, 1,500, and be able to have 3, 4, or 5 primal items. That'd be cool. But I was happy with, you know, 1 to 3. One time I got 4, I think. But like in Diablo 4, I'm playing about the same amount of time as some of those seasons of Diablo 3. And, you know, I've got 1 mythic unique, and I'm not sure what I'm doing exactly, I feel like. And the only reason I have the 1 mythic unique is because you pretty much, anybody can get 1. Do you know what I mean? But when I'm killing, I've never found a mythic unique. So there's nothing fun about the game for me right now. And, you know, I think I used 80 exquisite bloods or 100 exquisite bloods or whatever, and 200 living steels and 100 of all the things to roll the bosses, and not one of those bosses dropped a mythic. So, and I don't like target farming. I like going into the big area to kill dense mobs and hoping something crazy happens or drops. That's the exciting part for me. Or maybe a goblin has an extra chance to drop a mythic item, but which would make them really exciting. But instead, it's just killing stuff and nothing ever drops that's like, wow. Once in a blue moon, something drops that's like, oh, that could be a little better, maybe. But I want stuff to drop that's like, damn, oh my God, this is why I played 4 hours today, because of something like this. And it's missing that. It doesn't have that. And maybe that's not what the game's supposed to be. It's supposed to be whatever it is. I don't know. It's supposed to be for like YouTubers who have all, I mean, I am one, but I mean, it's, you know what I mean? Like people that, oh, I've got 1 million subs and all I talk about is Diablo games and stuff. So this is awesome, you know, but regular people, it's not working for me. I'm just telling you the facts. I'm telling you the facts of why I constantly put the game down. Why do I constantly play for like, you know, a couple hours and then just go, and I put the game down? Even Diablo 3 holds my attention more because I pretty much know in Diablo 3 that if I play for 2 to 4 hours, there's a really good chance I'm going to find a primal item. 2 to 4 hours. Good chance. I do think that primals are still a little bit light in Diablo 3. I wish they were turned up a little bit. But there's also just a clearer path with things. But I also don't like, in all the games, how so much of them are cookie cutter. It's like, well, what should I do? Oh, I'll just look at build guide. Like, oh, I think I got a pretty good build going. And by the way, I did my build on my own. I didn't look at any build guides. I'm just doing my own build. I'm in Torment 2. Could I probably get to Torment 3 or 4 if I paid more close attention to a build guide? Yes. But I'm so sick of it's a chore. Like, I must follow the homework. I must do work that you say. It's not fun. I don't like when there's no guidance on what to do exactly either. But I would prefer it if on the build guides it was like, if you're doing this type of build, you want these type of stats 100%. But then items that dropped were crazy or random or just so mixed up that it was exciting. But they're not. I'm confused. I really don't care enough to look into it more. And I just kind of think to myself, well, let's see if... I don't know. I can't explain it. Something's wrong. I'm turning the game off. For me, something's wrong. I'm turning the game off, and I'm not playing, and I don't like killing the mega bosses or whatever, trying to find mythic uniques. I don't like it. I don't like target farming. I don't want to work with other people. Unless it's like real people I know and we're all in headsets or something. That's fun. But I pretty much don't really want to do that in Diablo. And so I find myself thinking that Last Epoch, I find myself wanting to play Last Epoch a little bit more. But the problem I have with Last Epoch is I don't like having to kill that crazy boss to get to that tomb area to smash an item together. But I love the smash item together thing. But I don't want more stuff where I'm not finding it randomly. I like the idea of slaying monsters hoping to hit the lottery. But as long as the lottery like is coughing stuff up every once in a while, it's not in Diablo 4. Is it possible a mythic unique drops? It is possible. So I'm thankful for that because the idea of that is good, but it's so not likely. But then I'm seeing people do these boss runs where they drop, and I can't do those, or I don't have time to do all those, or group up with people or whatever. And it's just like irritating. I like the loot filter system in Last Epoch. I really kind of like the again, I like the smashing system where you smash or slamming the items together, whatever it's called, slamming them together, smashing them. I don't fucking remember. It sounds like a big orgy to me. I don't know. But like, what I would like is, I wish Diablo 4 had, I mean, I don't mind mythics. I like mythics. I think they should drop randomly more. I think they should up the drop rate in the regular world. And not just make it so target farmed. It's so limiting and enraging. I don't like it. It makes me think, well, why am I playing Helltide? I don't want to do that. There's nothing, I don't want to do this to do something else. And I don't know, it's pissing me off right now thinking about it. So I wish that there were, the mythic unique drops were greater in other areas. And honestly, I wish there was a whole reworking of all the items in a way. I wish that there were other just as rare items, but they were like more abundant. So you got your mythic uniques that are cool, But it would be really cool if there was something, and I mean, this could be a seasonal theme, but something like chaos legendaries or something like that, where there's literally like a chaos legendary or a, some whatever the hell name you want to make up, and there were just tons. There was more chance of those dropping. They dropped almost at the rate of, somewhere between an ancestral and a mythic unique or whatever, or I don't know. And they weren't set in stone. They weren't set in stone things. They were completely random rolls. Just bonkers random rolls. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to them. They don't make sense, really. They could carry so many different types of stats all over the place. And the stats could roll anywhere from like piss poor to just whacked out good. Like their best stats are 3 times more powerful than anything in the game. Right? So if you rolled a perfect roll on it, it's like 3 times better than the mythic unique. And, but it could also be 3 times worse than a mythic unique. So just, and have those drop at a rate that's like, if you played for an hour just slaying monsters, you will probably find 2 of them. If you play for an hour, you'd find 2 of them. But there are so many roll possibilities in them that, like, it could take you maybe a month, maybe 2 months to find the perfect roll or, like, perfect rolls. I mean, maybe you found one and it had this crazy dexterity roll, and then at the same time it had a crazy critical strike roll, but the speed rolled like 10. But the possibility of like is like, I don't know, 300 or 100 or something. You know what I mean? And so you're like, wow, this is really cool, and I'm definitely going to be able to use this. But I need, man, if that had rolled perfect, I would have the greatest goddamn pair of boots in the game right now, or like one of the best ever. That's so crazy. And then you just keep playing. And now maybe, and some people might say, well, then what happens is everyone's going to be looking for like the perfect roll for your class stats in these certain things. And you're right. I guess they would be. And then they get a little bit similar to, I suppose they can get similar to set items maybe. But now you could make them, instead of making them like weapons or armor and chests and things like that, you could make them gems that you have to socket. So the gem would be like like a square, and there's like 10 stats on it, or 5 or 7 stats. And maybe they could roll anywhere. Maybe they could roll 3 stats to 10 stats. And it's completely random how many stats they roll. And it's completely random what those stats percentage is. That would be wild. And they don't drop until level, 60. I mean, it would be really crazy if when you're farming for an hour, you have the likelihood of finding 1 to 2 of these, and it can roll anywhere from 3 stats to 10 stats. And, the more stats it were to have, the less chance or likelihood it would roll that many. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's got a 100% chance it rolls 3 stats. It's got an 80% chance it rolls 4 stats or 5 stats. There's a 10% chance it rolls 10 stats or something. And they're completely random. And it would be such a wild thing to have that. So if you played for 6 hours, you potentially could find 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of those. And, it's going to be hard to get the perfect roll, but it's going to be exciting. And it would be cool if those slotted into your gems or your jewelry or any socket. They can be socketed into anything. Man, that would be fun. That would be so fun. You know what I mean? Like, that way, like, when you find one of these, maybe it only has 4 stats on it, and you're going to put it in your jewelry. But you're like, oh my God, those 4 stats are better than the 6 stat or 5 stat one that I had in there previously. Like as an example, you're like, oh, like this is what I had over here, but it was only 30 dex, 100 crit, 5 all stats, 30 max life, 2% lucky hit, 20% damage. Now, if you find that right away when you're first starting out and you don't have one yet, you're like, hell yeah, that's a great little boost. Let me chuck that in my jewelry. But then maybe a couple days later, you find on the left, a 679 dex, 100% crit again. But then you find +5 all stats and 1,000 max life, and you really need max life maybe. And you're like, you know what? I'll sacrifice that 2% lucky hit and even the 20% damage, or maybe not. I don't know how those numbers work out, but maybe you're going to go for the 4 stats over all of those, and you're like, oh, this is great, and you switch it up. Like, stuff like that blows things away. But what if you rolled 10 over here instead of the 6 here or the 4 here? You rolled 10 and they were damn close to perfect. Or just the idea that it can be so variable, such a variable. And then what would be really cool is how in the these are the only items. Well, I don't know if I'd want to do this with these, so never mind. But my bottom line is, it'd be cool is if you could inject mythic unique powers into it. So you could take a mythic unique power, but I don't want to get too complicated. I just want it to be awesome. Maybe there's like a cool, like mega, every one of these has a mega power at the bottom or something, a special thing at the bottom, but I'd rather I'm fine with just keeping it simple and so random. And you could have an absolute turd piece of crap, or you could have like an insane, just mind-blowing roll that could blow up like nobody has gotten that roll yet. Things like that. Give me those. I like what they've done in Diablo 4. It's better than it's been. And, the rune words are cool, but they're set it and forget it. Once you find the rune words you want, it's just over for the most part, which it's over fairly quickly. I think you find the rune words you want pretty quickly for the most part. Or even if you haven't found the perfect one you want yet, it doesn't make that big a difference. At least to me, maybe I don't know something, but it's not as easy to identify. I don't know. But I would really wish something like this was in the game. And then I wish that instead of in Last Epoch, how you have to go fight the bad guy boss in the weird place to get to the temple thing, to slam the items together and make a cool combination item. I love that. I mean, I like that, but I don't want it to be every item. I don't want to be doing every item like that. So what I also would like to see is that, I don't know, maybe like you could do that in Diablo 4. You could slam 2 different items together to make like a super item or to make something really cool. That would be cool, but I would make that pretty hard to find. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would make that like a rare thing to find. Like maybe it only drops from the butcher. And the butcher has like, I don't know, the butcher has like a 2% chance of dropping it. And if he drops it, you get a scroll of Reforge or whatever it is. And that, oh my God, I've got one. I can now take 2 different items and just smash them together and slam them together. And basically it will make a super item of some kind. And it glows red and evil and dark and death. And maybe it's called the Satanic Enchantment or something. I don't know, whatever. And it would be cool if legitimately you have to make one sacrifice from the stats on each item. So you take both of the items and you make one sacrifice. So one of the stats on each of the items has to go, but the rest of the stats on both items remain. That would be, to me, super fun. And when you slam it together, you don't know what the stats are going to be replaced with. But number one, you're going to get double the stats because you're going to get both item stats combined into one. So you kind of win no matter what almost. But then on top of that, you don't know what those maybe there's going to be, maybe there isn't going to be a replacement stat. Maybe there isn't any replacement stats. It's just you get to sacrifice one here, one there, and the rest of them all slam together and all become one. And that's super crazy. And they all roll, maybe they all roll perfect. I don't know, but these are things that I would find fun. The game has some pretty fun stuff, but it's missing the wild drops of, it's just missing that primal drop rate that Diablo 3 has. And I feel like if we could get a little bit more of the best, craziest stuff in the game to drop more frequent. If I play the game for a week, I want to find at least one, maybe. And then it would be nice to have some of the complete crazy randomness of some of the old Diablo 2 gear. And I think based on all the things that I'm throwing out there and saying, I think we could get that. But right now it's a lot of like season 7, it's like you level up your witch powers that are powerful, but it's clicking buttons to level things up and find them, and it just feels we've already done it in season 1 and 2. So season 7 is like the best of. It's almost like Diablo 4 season 7 is like, okay, here's the best of the last 7 seasons. We don't have anything else right now, which is good, but what? I feel like we're always complaining. Like every season is like, this is better, but, and that's how I feel. Now, you could be out there completely disagreeing and thinking like, what a fudge are you complaining about? You're an idiot. And that's fine. I'm sure a lot of people love the game the way it is, and maybe what I'm saying is dumb to you or to many people, but I'm just telling you how I feel. I'm telling you literally, I'm not saying that the game should revolve around me and that you got to make me come back and do all these things for me. If they would even be good anyway, I don't know. I just know that I find gems in the game completely useless. Like, I find gems, these gems, any gems you put in anything, I just find them useless. I don't care. They don't do much. Why not do what I just said with those crazy stat rolls and have these super gems in the game? But don't make me target farm people for them. Don't do that. I mean, you know what I would rather have is like, if you do Hell Tides, the drop rate is higher anyway. The drop rate's higher in Hell Tides, but also that, in a Hell Tide, there's going to be 10 bosses that spawn, and they would literally be the bosses from that you're target farming for Mythic Uniques, but they just spawn in Hell Tide. They just spawn out of nowhere. And it happens 10 times. Or maybe they just do it every, on average every 10 minutes they seem to spring up somewhere. And you just kill them. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think of how this game could be better. I think goblins, they made goblins a little bit better in the season 1, 2, and 3. They kept making them a little better. But now they're just kind of like, they're just stupid again. goblins, and they were fun at the beginning when they were doing that winter sleigh ride thing, kind of. But like, do something with them again. Put like, there's a higher chance that, I don't know. I'm just finding myself turning the game off all the time, and I'm thinking like, well, this is the third season now where I've got one mythic unique, because I basically you can get it if you work at the one. But has one ever dropped randomly and made me go, holy crap, a mythic unique dropped, oh my god? The only time that ever happened for me was one time. And that was because I was in a group of people and we ran Duriel like 50 times. And I happen to be in a group of people, and I don't play in groups though. So that was a one-off thing. But you're telling me the last 3 seasons, all the farming and running around, and not one has dropped. And that makes me think about next season just being like, I don't want to play that. Why am I going to play this again? To get kind of okay gear, play Torment 2, and then not even one mythic unique is going to drop. But if you had turned that rate up a little bit higher, and then you'd made some other primals or mythic uniques that are crazy, and the drop rate's up higher, and then on top of that, there's these crazy gems that can drop 1 or 2 every hour, and they roll 3 to 10 stats, anywhere from terrible to amazingly, insanely overpowered. And, they look like this, and you never know what you're going to get. And there's so many different combinations. It's insane. And it's literally just an extra that you throw into your jewelry or amulet and your weapon or whatever. And maybe you could add the, if socketed into weapon, it gives you this. If socketed into jewelry, it gives you this. If socketed into helm, it does that. And literally make it like a combination of a stat blast / the legendary gems from Diablo 3 / the gems that we know here / just something like this, like wild. I would think that would be really cool. And that would keep people pumping and going. But instead, I guess I am not feeling it. Path of Exile is too much for me. I don't have the time to do that. Sorry, Path of Exile 2, it doesn't look good. I mean, maybe I should do what Elon did, but I don't know. But why would you do that? I guess I'm just back to sort of being lost with, I want to play Diablo, but sometimes I want to just log in and play for an hour or two. And if I logged in and played for an hour or two with the things I was just talking about, well, I might have a chance of something dropping. But even if a weapon or something doesn't drop and I don't get a mythic unique in a couple hours, or I don't get a really crazy primal unique thing or whatever, well, maybe I'll get one. I'll definitely get 1 or 2 or 3 of these, and they may upgrade something, and that will make me feel good. And I think this would help casuals quite a bit. It would help bad players quite a bit. And then, of course, the mega crazy players are going to be trying to get millions of these to get the perfect 10 out of 10 roll that would be nuttery, and plus you can put more. You could literally get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them and put them into your stuff. And maybe even if you have 6 of them equipped, they all connect in some crazy way to make some kind of set item boost explosion. I mean, bro, that would make me cream my pants at that idea. And then I could log in for an hour or 2 or 3 every day, and I would feel like I'm accomplishing stuff all those times. Whereas right now, when I log in for 1, 2, 3 hours a day, I feel like I almost just did nothing. I just farmed a bunch of stuff to try to kill bosses 7 times, and I didn't get anything, and I have nothing to show for it after 3 hours, but maybe 5 Paragon levels. Stupid. That's why I stopped playing. I don't know who needs to hear this, but it's my opinion. It's my feelings. I may be wrong. I'm a super crazy obsessed casual, I guess. Playing Diablo since the 90s. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for listening to me babble on and ramble on. Boy, did I repeat myself quite a bit. I'm sorry.